what can I actually do to produce wealth? What can you actually do to produce wealth? Now, I think that's a phenomenal question to ask. And with that being said, here's a thought. Think about it. Every single thing that God created is valuable. Like every single thing that God created is valuable. Now that should lead us to another question. And the question is, if every single thing that God created is valuable, what makes it valuable? I think that's a pretty good question to ask. I mean, you might be able to come up with a better question to ask, but I think it's a good question to ask. If every single thing that God created is valuable, what makes it valuable? And here's the answer. Well, it's the best one that I've been able to come up with thus far. And again, you might have a better answer, but I believe that the reason that every single thing that God created is valuable is because every single thing that God created ultimately serves a purpose. Like there's a reason why God created that particular tree, that particular ocean, that particular mountain. There's a reason why God created you, because again, every single thing that God created is valuable, and it's valuable because it ultimately serves a purpose. There's an intent behind that particular creation, and that's what ultimately makes it valuable. Now, you might ask yourself, okay, if that's the case, well, what's the intent of that purpose, right? Like, okay, what purpose does it serve? And I'm so glad that your pinky toe was thinking that. Because the purpose that it serves is that it solves a problem. And again, that's ultimately what makes it valuable. So what can you and I actually do to produce wealth within our lives? And here's the piece. Everything that is valuable on this earth serves a purpose. And the purpose that it serves is that it solves a problem. So what you and I can do to produce wealth is to start focusing not on our own problems, but focusing on the problems that exist within society. And the more we begin to focus on providing solutions, keyword, solutions to those problems, right? This is how we ultimately begin then to produce wealth in our lives. Because what is wealth? Wealth is ultimately the ability that God has blessed you and I with to provide value for someone other than ourselves. And how do we produce value in other people's lives? By helping them with the solution that God has given us through a product or a service, to give that to them that helps solves their problems. And the more effectively we do this, the more people are more than willing to part with the money in their pocket, because the service or the product that you provide that solves their problem is worth way more than the money in their pocket. So what can you and I do in order to produce wealth? Well, we simply need to start by focusing on providing solutions to the problems that other people ultimately experience. My friend, I'm hoping that you got something out of this. If you have, smash the like button. Comment down below whether you agree or whether you disagree. Thank you for watching. Until next time, just know today, and also, by the way, subscribe if you have not yet done so, and then we'll see you, Lord willingly, on the next one. God bless you, and just know today, namhlanje, that your voice matters. And listen, by the way, hold on. I'll share one more thought here with you, and that is simply this. And we might dive a bit deeper into this in one of our videos, all right? But at least for now, listen to this and think about this. If you take a slave and you put a slave in a palace, he will eventually turn the palace into a prison. But if you take a king and you put a king in a prison, he will eventually turn the prison into a palace. Your thinking matters. Thank you, champs. Have a wonderful and beautiful day further. And for those of you that are wondering what the heck does lekker mean for the overseas viewers, it means nice. Very nice. Very, 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 very nice. Enjoy it, and yep, take care, champs, and thank you once again.